They can learn anything that they wish to or they want to. So the same is true for the teenager also. But at the same time, we want them to be understanding, because they are growing up. We want them to be communicate with us in the appropriate manner, or we want them to acknowledge some things, correct? But what's happening here, these the connections are not yet together as of now. Okay, and when are they going to be connected totally? Is it at the age of 21? So expecting a teenage brain to act like an adult brain itself is not going to work out. How can you help the child? See, first and foremost, love the child. All right, whatever they do, love the child, accept them the way they are and the way they are not, because they are going through a very beautiful stage of connectivity in the brain synapses. And while that's going on, obviously there are going to be external changes also. Internal changes are happening, obviously external changes are going to happen. Now when that's happening, that's when we want the parent to be much more available for them. See, usually for the younger children, or for any child for that matter, think of having two buckets. One is the attention bucket. They want your attention. So even the small child, they will come and tell you, just listen to me. Or if you are not listening to them for any XYZ reason, they end up screaming and shouting, or doing any kind of an activity, so that they end up gaining your attention. That's one. So the attention bucket is there. And the second is that, this urge of being in power, in control of a situation is equally present in a child. Okay. So we need to see how much in control of that situation the child is in. If they have been doing the temper tantrums and wanting things to be done in the way they want it to be done, and somehow you have already complied to it, and you have given them whatever they have wanted after their tantrum, somewhere they understand that anything and everything that I do, if I do it in this particular manner, I'm going to get it. Okay. And children are very, very intelligent. If you have said no and you stick to that no, all right, if you have said it and communicated it in that particular manner, you stick to your word, the behavior stops, because they are very intelligent creatures. They are creative beings. If it's not working, they are not going to waste their time on it either. So it's going to be you at that point of time to show consistency, that if this is being said, it's going to be done. Right? Now, let's move on to, yes, with the small child. What do you do with the small child? See, for them, it's much more necessary to, tell them the consequences of what's going to happen. For instance, if they are going to do something, okay, break the glass, or sometimes they scream, yell, take the remote and just throw it somewhere, there has to be some consequences, because that behavior is not acceptable. You stick to your consequences, the child is yours, right? It's easier said than done, of course. The second part is where the child is growing up, obviously, a little bit more, like in the sense the primary age, the 9-10-year-old child. Now when you are telling them this, the same thing, asking them to do something, maybe help you in some household chores, and here the child is not going to totally back off and say, no, I'm not going to do it. Rather, they'll be like, okay, fine, I'll do it for you. Can't you find somebody else to do it? So whether they like it or they not, but they are still cooperating with you, right? So communicate with them. Of course, consequences are equally involved, because this stage is following up. Consequences are definitely involved, but at the same time, you're communicating, look, it's a good idea to do it, right? For whatever XYZ reason, whatever your job you want the child to do, and why you want the child to help them out, a little bit of storytelling for both the ages is going to help you out here. The third stage, or the final, where the teenager, the true adult, you don't even have to say it, it's the initiative and they do it. Now this is the stage where the teenager is not yet coming to, right? They have not reached this stage, they are still lingering behind the late childhood brain and trying to get into the adult stage. So the compliance, or that availability of, yes, I'm going to do whatever you have said, is not going to come that easily. So allow them this age and this period to grow up. And I hope the information I have shared with you at the moment will help you understand what or where your child is. I mean, at what age it is and what sort of a treatment the child requires. The younger one requires for you to tell them the consequences. The older one requires you to tell them the consequences and communicate accordingly. Of course, the adult part is where the initiative is taken by their own. Hope that is helpful.